hour is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hope you're all having a great day. It is a Thursday. It is a Ute preview show. Frank Dolce will join us, but I'm fired up. We're going to talk to Kevin Young, head coach at BYU, coming up here in about 30 minutes from right now.
Excited to catch up with Mr. Young.
Yep.
Very excited.
You ready to do this?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's one of those days.
It's a bucked up day?
It's a bucked up day.
Yeah, we love it, man. If you're looking on the camera, did you see this? It's the lightly carbonated protein drink, and it's a peach mango.
How many grams of protein you got in there?
25 grams of protein in that can. Wow. Have you ever heard of a non-chocolate, non-vanilla?
A non-shake, essentially.
Yeah. It's just a soda protein drink, 25 grams.
Wow. You got to get that protein in any way you can.
And it's delicious.
Yeah.
It's so good. So big thanks to Bucked Up. Use promo code ZONE. Is it promo code TheZone or Zone? Try either one.
Yeah. One doesn't work, then try the other one.
Both will get you 20% off.
Yeah, there you go.
20% off your full order. But
by the way, I am all in on the woke AF. Like,
yeah, what do you think? Do you like the face tingle?
Yeah.
It feels good, huh?
I kind of like it, actually.
And your belly has this kind of warm burn.
Yeah.
And you'll push through reps. You push
feel
through
like,
run.
I feel like I could go take that bike, that no-name bike of mine.
It's a Peloton.
And just freaking
right into France.
Don't do that.
I said the bike in which shall not be named.
Go ahead. Throw it in our face. It's okay.
Lance Armstrong, that bad boy.
You take your Peloton right across the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's good. It's delicious. Hey, I'll tell you what. It's not often you wake up and read a story that the FBI is arresting head coaches and NBA players. And this is wild, man.
Yeah.
And it might not be what people think. It's not as much sports betting as it is a poker ring that was fixed.
Yeah.
That was attached to the mafia.
Yep. You got Tony Soprano running this thing.
It's like a movie. Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier both arrested as part of this wide-ranging investigation that's related to illegal sports gambling. It's related to sports gambling, but it's more closely related to this rigged poker game that was backed by the mafia. What are Billups and Rozier?
Billups?
Are they just on the take?
That's what it sounds like. Like they were, and again, reading between the lines here a little bit, they were being essentially directed by the mafia to say, hey, we need some wells that you need to bring in that we can take their money.
Wow. 34 people have been arrested so far. 34. Rozier was arrested just this morning in a hotel in Orlando, Florida. Now, Rozier is attached to illegal sports betting.
Yeah. No, he's the one that is essentially saying, like, hey, guys, take the under on all my numbers. I'm going to check myself out 9 minutes into the game. And then he would take their money, and apparently he had it all in cash in his either his hotel room or his apartment. The FBI comes in, and they find all the cash. Like, buddy, you got to launder that stuff, man.
Can you imagine? Is this is prison time, right?
It has. Well,
how long did the official go away? 4 years?
Tim Donaghy? Yeah, 3 or 4 years, something like that. But you wonder if these guys are going to be arrested, and they're like, okay, you're probably never going to coach in the NBA. You're definitely not going to play in the NBA. But we can keep you out of prison. But those whole mafia ties, we need names, and we need information. So if they turn state's evidence, maybe they can stay out of prison. But as of right now, it doesn't look good for him.
So Donaghy was sentenced to 15 months. He spent 13 months.
Wow, that's it?
13 months. Wow. And you think about it. Okay, 13 months. If I've got enough money stored away, if I've laundered enough,
yeah,
doesn't it need to be more than if you're a part of potentially swaying professional sports? You lose everybody. if people found out that professional sports were on the fix, it's over.
Yeah.
It's a broken system.
Yep.
Because, fans are out there spending. What was a jersey at the Mammoth game, Lloyd?
I mean, you're spending hundreds of dollars.
Oh yeah, it was like over 100.
What did that guy that brought that day that they sold the jerseys for the first time and he showed up? We were at a Minky Couture.
Yeah.
And I think he said he dropped $250 for that sweater.
That sweater.
Has to. I mean, beanies were like $40, hats were like $45, something like that. So yeah, I would imagine the jerseys were up there.
So you think about the fan investment. They invest their lives.
Yes.
And I totally get it because, Scotty, I'm to the point now in my life where I think my finest investments are into my family. And one of the best things that you can do as a family is you just go enjoy sports together.
Correct.
I mean, it's a really fun thing with your kids. So I understand why people invest it, but imagine if they realized we're investing into something that's fixed.
I mean, at least you go to a WWE, you know what you're going into.
Right. This would be like investing into Triple H and thinking that Triple H isn't on the fix, that it's all about his wrestling skill and how he comes off a rope and his finishing move. It's not about
script writers.
McMahon saying, well, this is how it's going to. You know what I mean? It's crazy to think that anything could be on the fix with anything sports-wise. Now, I played for a few years in the NFL. I played for a few years in AFL. I've been around big-time sports, and I can tell you, Scotty, when I was around it, you didn't touch. You didn't think about touching anything related to sports gambling, ever. And, there were a few names that might have been more fresh on our mind that their names had been run through mud and they had been permanently removed from their organization. And so, you had these examples like, holy cow, well, I don't ever want to be caught gambling. That's worse than being caught with steroids or drugs.
Yeah. Anybody who lived, and I know different sport, but anybody who was young and impressionable during the Pete Rose thing, you were like,
you never forget.
You don't forget it. You're like, that is you can steroid up, you can have a DUI, you can have a domestic assault, like all these things. Like, okay, we can work through that. You gamble, you're going after the integrity of the game, and you won't even sniff the field or even be in a stadium ever again.
I'm telling you, you remember I went on that diatribe when we started attaching these gambling sites to professional sports. You remember I kind of went bonkers on it. It really bugged me.
And conversely, I thought, it'll regulate itself. It'll be all right.
I've just seen too many players now, football, basketball, pros, college. I've seen too many people get intertwined with this and their names get run through the mud, whether they deserve it or not. One college player sent a couple of Venmos that had a detail attached to the Venmo that was like something like for the Vanderbilt gambling, the Vanderbilt game. Or
take the under, something,
something stupid on a Venmo receipt that he claims that, he just hid certain things. You don't hide a Venmo exchange with gambling, do you?
No.
This is wild to me, man.
The whole thing is just unbelievable. And guess what? As soon as you opened up Pandora's box and you started taking that money, you can't stop now. Like, the only reason that Kyle Whittingham and Bronco Mendenhall and Kalani Sitake, you know why they have to do injury reports now? It's gambling. It's 100% gambling. They don't say that, but if these leagues are going to be taking money from DraftKings and these other companies, they're like, okay, we're going to need you to do this for us. Like, all right, we can do that. There's only one reason. I mean, today I think it was Jake Hatch who tweeted out a video of SportsCenter, and they're reporting on this story with Terry Rozelle and Chauncey Billups, and they had to pull a bug because that segment was brought to you by DraftKings. And they're like, we should probably pull that off.
Oh, my gosh.
And so, like, we're so intertwined with it that you can't unravel it.
Yeah, a lot of people making jokes about it, but the jokes actually aren't funny. For instance, I saw one guy sent out a tweet that said, use promo code Billups, and the S is a $sign for $500 in free on FanDuel.
Chauncey Billups?
I was laughing. I'm like, this is not funny, but
it's funny because it's true.
Funny because it's true.
Yeah.
These coaches and players are so intertwined with this stuff. And you and I have talked about this a lot over the years, you know, in the world of sports radio. We need every advertising penny you can get out there. Like, sports radio it's a great venue, and I know that our advertising has great return. I know that, especially based off of what we saw with Bar W and Farmers Insurance yesterday. It was incredible. Great return. They were so excited about the partnership. But there is money that we can't take.
Nope.
And have not been able to take in this market. And, you know, whether it's associated to this world or another world, it is associated with a different level of interest from ownership. Mm-hmm. That's as far as I'll go with it, unless you want to go into more details.
No, I think we're good.
But there are a lot of dollars that we leave on the table. Lots. And those dollars are very enticing. And when FanDuel comes to you and they're like, hey, we want to be the premier sponsor of the Hans and Scotty show. Well, you have to understand what's attached to that. You got to understand the association. And I've always been shocked. How did the world of professional sports say, yeah, I think we can hitch our wagon to this. I think we can hitch our wagon to this, even though we will destroy your life if you touch it. But we want everybody else to touch it.
Yes.
Does that make any sense to you?
The only way it makes sense is when you understand the root of it all, and it's just money. It's like, okay, we don't want you as players to go after the integrity of the game, but we also want to cash those checks that they're giving us. So, you know, you want your cake, but you want to eat it too. Like, here's the thing. Like, you got to be careful about this, because once you take that check, it's like what we say about the Big 12, like, and BYU and Utah. When you cash those big TV checks, guess what? You're going to be kicking off at 8:30. You're going to be kicking off at 9 o'clock.
They're your boss.
Yeah, they tell you when you're going to kick off. You don't have any say in it.
Those checks are lovely.
Yes. And
you've lost all of your freedoms.
Yep. And same thing here. As soon as you took those checks from DraftKings or FanDuel or any of those other companies, well, guess what? You made a statement to your players like, well, they're taking that money. Why shouldn't I get some of this? Like, guess what? You open the door, and once your players and your coaches saw that you were okay with it, then they're going to think it's okay with it. And so you're like, you get on this moral high ground, the integrity of the game, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Honestly, I want Terry Rozier to sue the pants off the NBA and just say, you know what? They're taking money. Why can't I do the same thing?
Find some loophole.
Yeah.
Of connectivity.
Because, you know, the old adage of, what's the old line from Tombstone? My hypocrisy knows no bounds.
Yeah, right.
Well, guess what?
That's this.
Yep.
For some reason, this was so conflicting to me in some of those original deals.
You saw it.
Yeah. I lost my mind on it. I lost my mind on it for a couple of days. And, you know, the first thing that came to my mind, and I know that this is very outlandish. It's very, very outlandish. But it made sense to me because I've been an athlete. I've been a professional athlete. It made sense to me. It would be like the spoken word that goes on Sundays.
Yeah, music and the spoken word.
It'd be like having a Bud Light commercial come on right after it. To me, it's like, okay, so what you're representing is integrity of sport. You're a professional athlete. You're a professional organization. You don't have room for question. There's no room for it. But we're going to attach this brand that's all about seediness. The FanDuel is seediness. Sports gambling world, you know, it's not about the average guy out there that's betting a couple $100 on a game. Like, there's a real ugly side to sports betting where it drains people's lives, and people take their own lives because they get so far into holes. And I know we can look at it and say, well, that's their decision. That's their choice. it's an addictive nature. It's the same thing with cocaine or with bad alcoholics people can be as addicted to gambling as they can any of the other addictive elements out there. So we're just throwing and enticing these, and we're putting it in front of people that don't even know what they're getting involved with.
Oh, no.
Oh, I get $500 free on my first $500 bet. There's a reason they put that out there. That is the carrot that draws in the unsuspecting victim. And then it grabs them for life, and it'll drain their account, and there's no remorse. And it's like, okay, so that's what you're going to attach to. Well, okay. I guess if you're going to attach to it, but in my opinion, if you're going to attach to it, you better have a lot more leeway than you had with Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Because at least Pete Rose knew. Like it was seedy business then. It was Vegas and Atlantic City, and that was it. Or you got to have an illegal bookie. But now, what is it, 23 states? 26
like
states?
Yeah.
Or is it 28? I think it's 28 states.
I think we're over half.
Yeah, I think it's 28 states.
But my son consumes a lot of sports. A lot of sports. Watches all the sports. He's watching, the worldwide leader like crazy. Like he consumes a lot. And you know how many times he's like, Dad, let me start a draft duel or a FanDuel account. I'm like, he goes, I could make us so much. I'm like, no.
Boy.
No, you couldn't. No. And stop it. Like that. We joke around. He and I joke around a lot. That's one thing where I'm like, no.
It's 38 states. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, 38 states offer legal sports betting in some format,
and it's only going to get higher.
It's only going to get higher, and it's like, I think right now the NBA has an opportunity to make a real statement when we're talking about this level of depth. And I know that Terry Rozier is the sports betting side, and it sounds like Chauncey Billups is in another realm of
his poker ring.
Chauncey Billups?
Yeah. By the way, how do you swing? Oh, I guess, you might have 6 people at the table on the take, right? And one person, like you said, a well that's sitting there with $1.2 million in cash. And if you got 6 people working against one on a poker table, you'll get them.
Well, apparently it went as deep as having x-rays in the table that were reading cards. Like, this was some sophisticated stuff.
Cow. You took the wrong guy is what you did.
Yeah.
Somebody came into that room.
Yeah. Lost their shirt, and they are pipe hot and mad.
Yep. And they've got some connection to Patel or, somebody in the FBI, and they're like, I just had 1.4 taken off me, and I know for a fact we need to look into it. Just somebody took on the wrong person. That's what happens. Is this not what? Am I the only one that's just sitting here in full-blown jaw on the floor shock? I mean, I know that there's this out there, but 38 people arrested, head coaches, current players, and active proof of involvement. It's wild. I think it's wild, and I think the NBA better get a hold on it.
There's no doubt. Kevin Young's going to join us coming up here in about 10 minutes. Real quickly, let's get to a starting lineup. We talk about the ugly when it comes to the NBA. How about the good, the Utah Jazz?
This is Hans and Scotty G.
Let's go!
The lineup is set, and it's time to kick off the show with the biggest topic of the day. This is the starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Looking to hand off to Sensabaugh, not available. Resets Clayton. A high pick and roll with Nurk. Clayton in the lane. His first shot as an NBA player. Rattles around and in. And he's fouled. And the Jazz are doubling up the Clippers here in Salt Lake City. 33-16. Clayton with a steal. Outlet to Bailey. Ace big steps to the rack. Rises with the right hand. Talks and hammers. Timeout Tyronn Lue. Utah 35. Clippers 16. Hey, how about this? Wow. 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 Seconds left. High loop to Keontae. Across the half court. Into lane. Right hand floater. Yes! Dejounte with a grin from Ogden to Provo, and an eyes glittering. The Jazz lead by 31 at the half. How could this be? I have no idea, but it is. I've seen it with my own eyes.
You know what? That's just game one, folks. We got 81 more of those to go.
I'll take it, David.
Bring it.
Love the excitement, David. Because David's going to this game thinking this might be a long one. When you go in and you're like, this might be a long one, and you get to half, or you get to the third quarter, or you're in the fourth quarter, and you're like, this is not supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
It does elevate the interest and excitement. Does it not?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm watching. I'm calling that Colorado game, and they're down by 14, middle way of the second quarter. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they come out in the second half, and holy cow! All of a sudden the energy jumps. So I love David's take right there. It's fun. It's exciting, and I didn't see a 43-19 first quarter. 43-19.
43-19 for game number one for a team that was expected to be one of, if not the worst team in the NBA. Now, look, I'm not saying this is a playoff team, but to make that kind of statement on game number one, to blow out the Clippers, and here's the thing, Walker Kessler is in a situation with a contract where he wants to get paid. And he puts up 22.
He was a monster.
9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 4 block shots. He's like, hey.
8 trips to the line.
And by the way, 7 for 7 from the field. And you're right, 8 trips to the line. He's like, all right, time to pay your guy.
Mm-hmm. He looked good.
He looked really good.
Okay, so while I was watching this game, and by the way, if you didn't know, Scotty and I get to talk to Danny Ainge every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
At 12:30. And so when we were talking to him yesterday, one of us asked, what are you gauging this season off of? Like, how are you going to watch these players and gauge their success? And it played over and over in my mind, his response.
We're setting individual expectations for not how many points you score, but, how many charges you take, how many defensive stops you get, late in the clock, just getting better at the little things and small things that win, becoming more professional, learning the game, how many assists you're getting and shots you had, making extra passes, how many rebounds you're getting in traffic. Like, those are the things that we evaluate, and our expectations are to continue to get better, running back on defense. I know those things sound simple, but just teaching them to play the right way, I think, is what Will's mantra is, and he just wants to have them slowly get better and better. We have some good veterans that are good teachers on how to play, moving without the ball, so I think it's going to be a fun year. I can't wait to watch our young players developing.
Well, there you go.
Is that crazy? So he said that about 8 hours before this game goes. And I'm watching it. I'm like, holy cow. They're assisting all over the court. They won 38-28 in the assists. They were forcing their will in rebounds. They won in the rebound game 46-38. They were in the lane. They were quick to rotation. They were fighting their butt off. Okay, so that's one side that I saw. The other side that I saw was Kawhi Leonard could not be more disinterested in basketball.
Oh, yeah.
James Harden could not be more done with the game of basketball. I saw on one pick play, Phil Pasky rotated out to the perimeter and sat kind of hard underneath and it wasn't a moving screen, didn't move much. James Harden bumped into it, Phil Pasky, and didn't go. Just sat there like, oh, shoot. Didn't fight around it, didn't fight under it, was just like, oh, shoot. I was like, what kind of... These guys are collecting $220,000 for that one stupid game. And they can't fight through a decent screen? Have you ever seen a team more disconnected? And watching Chris Paul come off the bench, what the hell are the Clippers even doing or thinking? You've got Nicholas Batum, Brook Lopez, and Chris Paul. That's your bench. They're 36 plus. They've got millions in the bank. What is driving them? And then watching on the Jazz side, I'll tell you what's driving Ace Bailey. You nailed it exactly with Walker Kessler. I'll tell you what's driving them. They're hungry. Those dudes looked hungry, and they played hard, and they played discipline.
Hans and Scotty, 1227. Kevin Young, head coach of BYU, is going to join us next. What did he learn in that game against Nebraska? What's he hoping to learn against North Carolina? And other tidbits about this upcoming BYU basketball season. We'll talk to him next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars hit the road for a massive Big 12 showdown against Iowa State. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is time to catch up with the head coach of BYU basketball, Kevin Young. Media day going on, and boy, I tell you what, Coach, a lot of expectations for your team. How does this feel? How does this year feel a little different as opposed to last year when you were kind of flying under the radar to start the season?
For me, it's different just because everything was such an unknown for me last year, not knowing what to expect really with college basketball in general, much less the Big 12. So just a little bit more comfort just in terms of knowing what we're heading into. And then relative to expectations and all that, I've heard that a lot, but my main take on that is what else do you want? You want to be a good team. You want to try to go win every game, and that's what you play the sport for. So we're excited to get things underway.
How much are you enjoying this, Coach? How fun is this? All the hype, the pub, the excitement, being at BYU. How much are you enjoying what you're doing right now?
It's been super fun, man. My family loves it. My kids are super into it. Brian Santiago said this many times over, but truly it's just an unbelievable time to be a part of BYU. The football team is absolutely rolling. We're trying to bring our own excitement to the community, and you just can't leave the house without everybody being all in about BYU. And I think now it's even more so on a national scale too. So, yeah, man, it's a lot of fun.
From national attention, you've created a lot of headlines your own with the players that you've been able to bring in. But does football and basketball, can they feed off each other in terms of building momentum going into a season for you?
Absolutely. I know I use it in the recruiting trail. Just talking about how BYU wants greatness. They went out and got some high-level players. I've talked about how we've gone out and got high-level players. People want greatness out here, and I think you've seen it all over the place. So, yeah, it's easy to play off of each other. And, Kalani's such an unbelievable guy, heck of a coach, too, obviously. And so, we text each other often and are rooting for each other and try to learn from each other. And it doesn't stop with him either. Dill G, Taylor, I go down the list of all of our coaches. But, yeah, it's been super fun.
So, Coach, you've had an opportunity just to take a look at this team as it's now currently constructed, and just a little bit more of an opportunity in some exhibitions, some scrimmage opportunities. Just tell me kind of your thoughts and your expectations of this very hyped team that you've got.
Yeah, the first exhibition game was a little challenging just in terms of health. We were missing about 4 guys. Starting Rob Wright only played about 16 minutes, but it was really good because we got a chance to look at some other guys with some extended minutes and so forth. But the thing that's probably on my mind, which is a lot different than the NBA, is you really don't have you don't have many dress rehearsals, right? You don't really get a chance to work through the kinks against other teams, and that's a challenge. That's especially if one of the 2 games you do get, you're not at full bill of health. Well, it's really hard to learn what you need to learn. So I think it makes the job that much more difficult. But look, extremely excited about the group of guys that we have. Excited to see them play. Here in a couple of days, up in Salt Lake against I guess that's tomorrow. I just had a new baby, man, so I have no idea what time of day it is, what day of the week it is, or whatever. So my wires are getting crossed. But nonetheless, man, we're excited to go get another exhibition game under our belt.
Oh man, congratulations! You getting any sleep at
Yeah,
all?
what an amazing deal.
Sleep is definitely limited. The guys, unfortunately, our team is bearing the brunt end of that. I'm a little bit more on edge, but it's all good, man. It's a blessing.
Oh, that's awesome! Congratulations again. When you have this is going to be the case every year in college basketball. There's going to be a high turnover to your roster. How much do you change schematically this year as opposed to last year based on the talent that you have on this team?
You know, that's a really interesting topic. I've actually, someone you guys know well, Danny Ainge and I have talked about that a lot, and just how in the NBA you really have to do that. I think way more in college, just because you're getting high-end talent and you have to make it work with that group. It's not you can't be at the same place for a decade and run the same stuff. Sure, you're going to have, I think, systematic cultural things that you really believe in, and certainly we have that. I have that. But I think, I think back to my career and how I even got to this point. I mean, I spent 9 years in the G League, and I was getting new players every 5 days, and you had to change on the fly and adjust and stuff. So, I've leaned into some of those past experiences. AJ DeBance is different than Yegor Dimon. Rob Wright's different than Dallin Hall. Luckily Richie Saunders is back. We feel pretty good about the things that we can do to help him, help us, and along with some of our other returners. But yeah, I mean, that's the part of coaching that is really fun, especially when it's high-end talent. You just kind of learn their game. You learn. For me, I feel blessed to have a lot of reference points. Maybe not even stuff I did with Booker or Kevin Durant. Okay, well, what were they doing with Kawhi? Can I dip into that for AJ? Or what was somebody doing with John Wall? Can I dip into that with Rob Wright? And so there's a lot of things that I like to go and study and watch, and hopefully put these guys in positions to do what they do best.
Speaking of Yegor, Coach, did you see him in his opener last night with Brooklyn? It was awesome.
I was traveling back from media day last night, but I definitely got on and watched his minutes, and I was texting with him late last night. We've actually been talking quite a bit of late, and so thrilled he got the first one under his belt.
For those that didn't get to see it, 22 minutes. He put up 14 points. He went 4-6 from 3 in 22 minutes, 14 points, pulled down 5 rebounds, dished out a couple of assists, and was just fantastic in some bench minutes. It's got to be rewarding. Coach, I was Scotty and I have been doing this a lot of years, this radio thing a lot of years, and so I like to scour just what's going on in social media, and I saw an exchange between a big-time NBA player and AJ DeBance, and the big-time NBA player asked AJ, why BYU? And AJ's response was Kevin Young. I want to know, what is that like, just to know that you got that reputation, and where do you believe most of that comes from, Coach?
Yeah, it's funny, man. I was in the hospital having our newborn, and somebody said, actually, I think my wife might have been scrolling through something, and she actually saw that, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
So cool.
I mean, for me, I mean, that's what I loved about being in the NBA, right? It wasn't like the glitz and glamour of the arenas and the hotels and the allure of the NBA. It was just being able to coach, future Hall of Fame players. I mean, I was super lucky in my career to be able to coach really good players and having genuine relationships with those guys. And that was something when I decided to come to BYU, I knew that was what I was going to miss the most. And so now to be able to sort of set out on a new path and form those same kind of relationships with, the next generation of guys that are going to be in those shoes, that's extremely rewarding. And so to hear AJ make that comment, it was cool. There's really no other way to say it. It was really cool. I'm glad that he feels that way, obviously. And it's the thing I like about AJ is I can tell he really respects the path I was on and the people that I worked with. He asked me a lot about, okay, well, what did Chris Paul do in this situation, or what was Devin Booker's mindset on this, or what was KD doing here? And so it's really cool. It's really cool to have those worlds intersect.
BYU head coach Kevin Young joining us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coach, when you play these exhibition games, I was talking to a coach a couple of years ago. This is back when they had the super secret scrimmages, and he said he would just lay out the entire game plan and lay out what he wanted that team to attack because he wanted his team to get a little humbled. He wanted his team to go through adversity. He couldn't care less about wins or losses or any of that stuff. What do you hope to accomplish in these exhibition games?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of, I mean, it's new for me, right? So just trying to learn, like, how it, like, what other coaches expect out of it. Me and Fred Hoiberg had a lot of discussion leading into that Nebraska game. Hubert Davis and I have been playing phone tag to kind of have similar ones. Like I said, for me, that first one, I knew what it was going to be going into it. It wasn't going to necessarily, for us, feel like a super real game just given our situation. I think the Carolina one has a chance to be a little bit more real for us. So I'm hopeful that one is a little less scripted and more like, hey, just throw some stuff at us. We'll throw some stuff at you so that we can, get ready for our opener, which is why, like last year we played, a Division II school and in Boise State in a secret deal. This year, obviously, we're playing two, power conference type teams and big venues to help fast track our ability to get ready for our opener, which is a little different than the opener we had last year.
So, Coach, I leave tomorrow at about 1:15 to go call that BYU game coming up on Saturday. And, I think about these conference games, just how difficult they are. Headed to Ames, Iowa for Iowa State matchup. They're really difficult. It's just been back and forth with Colorado. And, some of these road games really difficult. We'll head to Texas Tech. And I'm thinking of it in football terms, but I look at it in basketball terms, and I'm like, geez, man, this is crazy with Houston doing what they're doing and Texas Tech so good, now divvying out money across both football and basketball. Arizona's always great. We know Kansas and Baylor are going to get back into it and be spectacular. What's this conference mean to you, and how much does this conference play a part of being able to recruit the top-end talent?
I think it's everything. Even me, like I don't, and obviously being a member of the church, I've followed BYU athletics, albeit loosely, through my career. And, when they made the move to go to the Big 12, I was, oh, wow, okay. And so, I don't think I would have come here if BYU wasn't in the Big 12. You're playing against the best of the best. Everything just levels up. Everything just levels up. And so every night in the Big 12, I mean, it was talked about a lot yesterday at the Big 12 Media Day. I think just the respect all the coaches have for each other, knowing how hard our league is, knowing how hard the away venues are, the talent level, the coaching. I do think it's no coincidence that AJ and even Darren Peterson at Kansas, who are arguably 1 and 2 in this next draft class, chose to play in the Big 12. It's just every night is really good basketball, and it makes everybody have to bring their A game every night.
What do you expect in terms of improvement? Because he played so well for you last year. What kind of steps does Richie Saunders need to take this year, and that you expect him to take?
Yeah, the thing with Richie, man, is like I think he's. It's less about what does he need, what new things does he need to show, and more, I think the consistency. He was so good last year, and had a pretty good year the year prior, but obviously took it to a totally different level last year. And I think people want to see, in fact, I'm on my way to practice right now. I got half a dozen NBA people that are coming. One of them's a good buddy of mine. That's something he said. Hey, I want to see Richie do it again. I want to see him double down on that level of shooting. So I think that's probably the number one thing. I think things I've talked to Richie about is just being able to read the game a little bit more, reading the second and third level of the defense, being able to throw lobs to KBK, to kick out threes to Rob or AJ in his own right, and add a little bit of that playmaking along with the shooting that obviously he possesses, and then the incredible motor as well.
So, Coach, you understand obviously very well the financial makeup of the NBA, and you understand now the financial makeup of the college basketball world with NIL. Do you feel like you're more able to keep talent from maybe heading into the NBA when they're maybe a second-round draft pick or maybe graded as a low first? Do you feel like you're able to kind of stabilize talent more with being able to pay them through college basketball? Because I think about it in college football terms, and I went to the NFL after my fourth year in college, and, well, it was fifth year, but fourth year playing, and it just scratched for every minute that I had in that freaking league. It's so tough. I just wonder, is it more appealing to kids to maybe stay in college and take a college basketball check over scrapping for what you know is limited time in the NBA?
Yeah, I think this past year. Well, let me say this. So I'm 18 months or so into the gig. The NIL structure and rules have changed about 4 or 5 times already, right? And so the landscape that we were under, like last year when Richie was making that decision, there's a couple other guys that come to mind who are also having to make a similar decision based on their draft range. You know, last year it was a no-brainer to come back. I think moving forward, I still think it's going to be pretty close to a no-brainer to come back if you're close. If you just look at the economics of what a two-way contract, as an example, could get in terms of guarantee. It's all about the guaranteed money, right? And so whatever the floor of a guaranteed two-way is probably going to be outweighed by what you could get in NIL for in most kids' cases. And we're talking about, I'm talking about, picks 45 and down, right? So if you're like a in that draft range, I do think it probably makes sense to come back to college if you feel like you're in a good place that can take care of you and you've carved out, your own kind of marketing deal and so forth. So yes, ultimately yes. And I think it's good for college basketball because you're gonna have better players for longer. And then if I'm putting my NBA hat on, and then all of a sudden, you're going to get an older kid that comes in that's ready to play. And I think that benefits them as much as it does the college coaches.
Coach, appreciate your time. Good luck in this exhibition game against North Carolina, and look forward to catching up again here very soon.
Thanks,
hey guys,
Coach.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, appreciate it.
The head coach of BYU, Kevin Young. You think the Big 12 is important to BYU? Kevin Young said not only will we not have the players here, he probably isn't there at BYU if not for the Big 12.
I thought that was very insightful. I said, when I saw them go to the Big 12, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And the truth is, I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them going to the Big 12. So that was a huge, huge deal. But this conference is tough.
Oh, yeah.
And they blew everybody away. I mean, I'll just leave it on me. They blew me away with what they did last year.
Same.
And Yegor was a huge jump. But then I'm watching Yegor last night with Brooklyn, and the dude looked really good. And then you're like, wait a second. Because he was good for BYU. He wasn't Richie Saunders. I didn't feel like he was Richie Saunders.
Yeah.
I thought Saunders was the key. I thought Damon was really good in distribution. I thought he was really good off the pick and roll. Really good.
Yeah.
His passing, very accurate. But did you think Yegor was the centerpiece of that team?
No, but there's just guys that are more built for the college game and some that are built for the NBA game. Yeah. And like VJ Edgecombe, we saw last night, just exploded. 34 points, most points by a rookie in forever. And because and we've heard all the time that like the spacing in the college game is so constricted that it doesn't allow the athletes to really show what they can do until they get to the NBA level. And, if we would have said, who's your rookie of the year, you're probably going to think Cooper Flagg and then, maybe some of these other guys. VJ Edgecombe, I think right now may very well be your rookie of the year. I mean, he looked phenomenal last night. Now, granted, it's just one game, but, I mean, I think there are certain guys that, Donovan Mitchell only averaged, I think, 15.2 at Louisville, and he gets the NBA and he explodes.
It goes crazy.
Yeah.
But great stuff. Thanks for his time. We really appreciate Kevin Young giving us a few minutes.
We need to get him on more often.
I know.
We'll work on that one, too.
He's really good.
Yeah.
And good luck with that baby.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Whew. Throwing a baby in the mix in the middle of a season.
We talk about Bryson Barnes having to play quarterback at Utah State with a baby that was born on Saturday. Now Kevin Young's got has to lead BYU as their head coach.
Wow.
With an infant baby.
Tough.
All right. Hans and Scotty, what you may have missed coming up next. And then Frank Dolce rolls in for your Ute Preview show beginning at 105 right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Number one. Miss any part of the show? Every moment of every show is available in podcast form by searching Hans and Scotty on your favorite podcasting platform or online at KSLSports.com. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, what you may have missed right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. By the way, we talked about BYU with Kevin Young and Big 12 Media Day. That was yesterday. Today is Mountain West Conference Media Day. Aggies picked to finish second in the Mountain West Conference behind San Diego State. Mason Falslev named to the All Mountain West Conference team as well. So high expectations this year for BYU and Utah State in their respective conferences. It'll be interesting to see what Alex Jensen gets going in year number one for the University of Utah, because when you've got the other two schools, especially BYU, as highly thought of as they are, you gotta keep pace. You know, boosters and donors and everybody else there up on the hill, they're going to want you to keep pace with what else is going on in the state.
Well, we talked to Kevin Young about his exhibition against Nebraska.
Yeah.
And he said, what did he say? They were without 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah, really banged up.
And I saw everybody wanted to jump on Utah's case in their exhibition and argue and bicker and say, oh, well, here we go again. How much weight do you put into these exhibitions?
Zero. And I mentioned this with Kevin Young. I talked to a coach who mentioned that he was actually, and this was a couple of years ago, that he was actually trying to manufacture a blowout loss for his team because he wanted to actually get his team humbled and get his team embarrassed and get him angry. So he told the opposing coach, we're going to do this, and this. And so that his team, who he felt like that coach needed his team to get a little confidence, the coach I talked to wanted to see his team get embarrassed a little bit. So, yeah, I would not read anything into these exhibition games. Not a single thing.
You know, the other thing that kind of popped in my mind when we were having that conversation with Kevin Young is the rosters for both BYU and Utah. Tell me if you've ever seen anything like this. Okay, I'm going to go Utah first and then BYU. Utah's got players from Finland, Senegal, Chinese Taipei, England, Germany, and Mali. BYU's got players from Serbia, France, Mali, Austria, Senegal, and the DR. We're talking about, and I'm just looking down this, you've got 3 players from Utah on the BYU roster.
Yeah.
Kozlowski, McGregor, and Saunders. Okay? You've got 0 players from Utah on Utah's roster.
Wow.
Not a single player on Utah's roster is a Utah kid. You've got Finland, Minnesota, Texas, Senegal, Florida, Massachusetts, Taipei, D.C., Wisconsin, New York, California. Yeah, not a single Utah player on the Utah roster. Do you think that's ever happened before?
No. Nope. I was looking at Utah State. Utah State does actually, for the first time in a long time, does not have any international players on the team, but they do have 3 guys from the state of Utah on the team.
So 3 for Utah State?
Yeah.
Drake is one of them, isn't it?
Yep. Drake Allen, Mason Falslev, Jordy Barnes. All right. I know.
6 Utah guys total for 3 rosters in this state.
Yeah.
Huh. Kind of going a different direction, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. By the way, I'm fired up for college hoops. I know people take a while to get into college basketball, and I totally get it. But this year could be really, really fun.
I'm fired up for our next conversation because Frank Dolce nailed the rivalry score.
Yes, he did. He absolutely nailed it. He and Alema, both spot on. Nailed that score. Frank Dolce joins us next. You preview show straight ahead, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.